Hey, bitches.
Hi!
What up?
What's up? Well, this is just take two because for some reason my garage fan hates me 24/7.
Hey, we made it. We're doing it. We're live and, back in action.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah.
After what seems like the longest week of our life.
Yeah. We intended to have an episode up last week. I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm going to anyway. You guys, we're just going through a busy time in life and work, so I'm sure you understand.
Yep. Without getting
But we back.
too much into it, I had some family stuff going on, a bunch of work shit going on, and, we're back and we're doing the thing.
We're here.
Yes.
Yeah. So
let me see. Anything else we need to talk about at the top? We will eventually have Tiger King Part 2 up. That's probably a work in progress.
Yeah, but we have to coordinate between four of us, so that's kind of why we haven't been able to do it, because
everyone's schedules are wonky.
Schedules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, we will probably have a second episode this week, life permitting.
Probably.
Yeah, so
yeah,
we will.
Of Amanda Knox, right, on Netflix. I think that's what we're gonna do.
That or the Centonia Brown.
Centonia, yeah. So either watch both of those, or both on Netflix.
How about this?
The Amanda Knox is a little more in depth, but
we should do a poll.
A poll. We'll do a poll. Yeah, you guys vote. Let us know what you want to do, and then we'll do that one.
Yeah, we'll poll on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we'll get all of the whoever most votes wins. Yeah. So it'll be Centonia Brown or Amanda Knox.
Yes.
All right.
Both are very interesting.
And they're both a little over an hour, if I'm not wrong.
I thought Amanda Knox was more episodes. I think it was a few episodes. I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it, so I would need to rewatch for sure.
I think it's just a movie.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I'm going to confirm that right now.
Okay. Sing us a song while we wait.
Sing you a song? Oh, I'm not that good at that. Sorry.
I was just singing to make sure my GarageBand was working.
Oh yeah, it was really good. It's 92 minutes long, so it is one documentary.
Okay, not bad.
Yes.
So everybody I'm sure has 92 minutes because you're still supposed to be staying home.
Yeah, and if you're not, fuck you.
But still listen to our podcast.
It was a polite fuck you. It was a term of endearment.
I say it all the time.
Yeah.
To people that I love.
Exactly.
So I think it's me this week.
I don't know, that's what you told me.
Okay.
I'm just going by whatever you tell me. I don't fucking know anything.
So, mine's long and interesting.
Ooh. As long as it's not long and uninteresting.
No, it's interesting. I just watched this off of, it was an episode of 48 Hours.
The new 48 Hours?
Yes, it aired last night. And I'm reading it from the article, basically summarizing it from CBS News. So it's pretty long. It's very interesting. So let's see, it was produced by Chuck Stevenson and reported by Maureen Mayer. It's about a 13-year-old girl named Mary Day who vanished, quote unquote, from her family's Seaside, California home, which I am not sure where Seaside is, but by the sea, I'm assuming.
Which side of it?
The seaside of it.
Excellent. For your edification, it is also, it's part of Monterey County. It used to be known as East Monterey.
Oh, that's closer than I imagined it would be. I was envisioning San Diego.
No.
Okay. So.
But this is bougie territory.
Ish. But this is in 1981, so it was probably not as bougie.
Yeah, but still not cheap to live there.
Yeah. So there's no record she was ever reported missing. She was 13.
What?
In 1981. And it really was not investigated. It was just weird. So they interviewed the former police chief. His name's Steve Sarsone. And he was quoted saying, "I can't remember a time when a child was not reported by the parents."
Yeah, that's fucking bonkers.
So weird. So basically, all of Mary's siblings were told that she had run away, and they were not allowed to talk about her.
That sounds healthy.
Right. When one of her sister, Sherry, when she became an adult, she actually did go and file a missing persons report for her sister.
How long ago was this after she disappeared?
I believe it was in the early 2000s.
It's like 20 years-ish?
Yeah. Yeah, so it says this sister, Sherry, was 10 when Mary had disappeared, and when she became an adult, but it doesn't specify, like, when.
Interesting, okay.
But, I mean, at 10, you really, I mean, if...
I mean, you don't have the power to do anything, but I mean, like, it...
Right, and it's just, this whole case is bizarre.
Okay, go on.
So, the police, like, when they became aware of the case, they thought this was probably, like, the case of a murdered child. Most likely by her parents, because they never reported her missing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's so strange. They had a few detectives on it. There was, like, no traces that she was even alive by this point. So there was no social security number, like records of her having a job. There's no records of her receiving welfare. There's no, like, identification. It's just, there's nothing. So essentially she didn't exist.
Like, there's no paper trail for this person.
Right. So, I mean,
that's weird.
Leading them to believe that she's probably dead.
Yeah.
So it's just so weird. So, Mary had lived with her mom, Charlotte, and her stepfather, William, and there was, like, talk that William possibly, like, was physically abusive to her, and that maybe he had accidentally killed her, like, from beating her or something.
Holy shit.
And there's, like, a story a little later on that I'll get to. So, it's just, it's bizarre. There's the three girls, Mary, there's a middle sister, Kathy, and then Sherry. They, when they were young, were in and out of foster homes because their mom couldn't take care of them. Mm-hmm. And at some point they had been separated, but then they were returned to their mom, who then married William Hoole and had a few kids. He actually was in the army, and they moved around a lot.
Okay.
So eventually CPS had come back to take custody of Mary because she, again, had been reportedly physically abused, but she was eventually turned back over to the family.
Fuck.
When Mary disappeared, he was assigned to Fort Ord, which, as you said, is near Monterey. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's, let's see, I'm just kind of scrolling down. Some of this isn't, there's a lot of, like, quotes and fluff that doesn't necessarily, like,
it's not super pertinent, but, like,
yeah,
I got you.
So the police launched an investigation in 2002. So this is 21 years later. They kind of start, like, interviewing people. The neighbors really don't remember the family living there. They didn't know Mary. She had never been enrolled in school in California.
Whoa.
And again, her parents never told anybody that she was even gone. But they thought maybe the reason for that was because Mary actually had been getting government checks because her birth father had died in an accident. So it was possible that they just didn't say she was gone or missing because they were getting money from,
right,
like, her benefits.
That's bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, not to say that I would ever do this, but, like, if that was some shit I was gonna pull, I wouldn't want the government to know that she was gone, because I'd want that money, honey.
Exactly. So, in the 48 Hours episode, they take the sister back to their house, and, like, where they lived when Mary had gone missing. Mm-hmm. And she recounts a story that their dog had become really sick and was dying in the kitchen, and their stepdad saw that, and he accused Mary of poisoning the dog. And then he started like yelling at her, and he hit her. And then the sister Kathy says, the last time I saw Mary, she had blood coming out of her mouth.
Oh my God.
So Kathy says after Mary disappeared, her parents told them that they could not go into one particular area of their backyard. And they show it on the video. So it's really interesting. The police decided at that point to bring in cadaver dogs. And they took 4 dogs back there, and they all hit on one spot near the tree in the backyard. So they started digging, and they're like for sure going to find a body, but they don't.
Whoa.
They found a little girl's shoe.
I don't like that. That's almost worse than a body. Like, I don't want to like things that definitely belong to a small child, or, you know, this child that could be missing, but no trace of her except for this item.
It's strange. So, but the police are like sure that there was a body there because all 4 dogs independently hit on the same spot. And the dog handler said that there was a body here, but it must have been moved.
Fuck.
So now at this point, the police are like, well, she was murdered, and we're investigating the parents as the suspects. But, you know, this is in 2003 when they did this dig, and she went missing in 1981. So they tried to find the parents, and they did. They found them in Kansas. They basically interviewed the mom, and she was like, well, she ran away.
Did you not give a fuck when she ran away? Were
Yeah,
you just like later days?
Right, exactly. So she was like, well, it wasn't a big deal. She did it all the she's like, well, I'm not sure that we filed a police report. We should have. And then she says, my husband said we filed a police report with the Salinas Police Department, but if we did, I don't remember. But there's not a report they checked. So,
you know, I feel like that's something you remember.
If that is your biological child and you're gonna take the word of your husband, who is not biologically related to this child, that he filed a police report.
No, you double check that shit.
Probably didn't. Yeah, that's irresponsible in my opinion.
That's just hashtag bad parenting.
Yes, I agree.
Almost worse parenting than was in that show that we watched, The Little Fires Everywhere.
It's so good. Watch it if you haven't.
Also, by the way, I think we might have touched on this the last podcast. That show is excellent. Yeah, and spoiler alerts, there's a lot of bad momming on that show.
Such bad momming. Well, and yeah, it's so good, but anywho. So they later interviewed the stepdad, and the detective says, tell me about the last time you saw Mary. And he said, well, that he was going into the room checking on the kids, and he discovered that Mary wasn't in the bedroom. So he tells his wife Charlotte, she panics, and he panics, and then they call the police. But the detective says, I was not buying it because they told me she runs away all the time. So if she runs away all the time, why are you panicking?
Right. Like, this would have been like any other time.
Yeah. So the detective brought up the story of the sick dog. My dog is barking. I'm literally going to take her to the pound, you guys. So he brought up the story of the sick dog, and the detective reports that William said, I'm pretty sure she poisoned my dog. I was really angry. She tried to run out of the house, and I didn't want her to go, so I caught her before she got out of the front door. She was kicking me and punching me, so I pushed her.
Holy shit.
And he was making gestures, like a choking gesture, and he basically said, like, it's a martial arts technique, and that he might have hit her in the upper chest to throat. Can we pause for a second?
Let me just, for clarification, this is just the stepdad that's doing all this.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the stepdad.
Again, not that I'm, like, trying to tell people, how to live their life, but, like, if you did do that the last time you remember seeing your stepchild, Why would you tell the cops that?
Yeah.
Like,
this whole thing doesn't make sense. It's gonna get more wild.
yeah, because, like, I appreciate his honesty. I really do. Like, I think that part's great about this whole thing. That's the only great part about this.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I would keep that tidbit to myself if that was me. But again.
Right. Just wait. So he says, I wanted to know on a scale from 1 to 10 what his anger was when this happened. And he said on a scale from 1 to 10, I was a 15. And he said, no, I didn't kill her, but the next day my wife Charlotte told me that night she saw Satan in my eyes, and she said I was possessed by a demon. Bullshit.
Wow.
I call some bullshit. Yeah, so the detective's like, I was really sure that he did it, but the DA wasn't ready to file. Like, they just didn't really have enough. And then...
Well, hold on. He said he had Satan in his eyeballs. Okay. Was that not enough to...
Right. Okay. Oh, just wait. So then the detective gets a phone call. And it was the Phoenix Police Department in Arizona who had pulled over a car and found a Mary Day.
No.
Yes. Oh, yep. This is in 2003. So this is 22 years later. She would be 32 years old. Look at math.
Hashtag mathing. Oh, you're right, because that was a sister.
I'm wrong. Because she was 13.
That would have made her 25. Okay. 35. Jesus fuck.
Good job. Just ignore us.
But anyways. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave us all the nice things that you have to
say.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah. So, Phoenix, Arizona, November 2003. Routine traffic stop. They discovered a pickup truck had stolen plates. They ran the IDs of the passengers, and one of them had hit. It was a woman named Mary Day. They had put her in the missing persons database, which is why her ID.
And this is the day after the stepdad's like, I almost fucking killed her.
No, this was I think a couple
got it.
months. It wasn't immediately after.
Within a short-ish time frame.
Yeah. It's just so weird. I think they said it was like a 7 or 8 month time frame that, like, between the parents knew they were being investigated to when Mary.
You mean when they were like released her from the dungeon? That
it says 7. It says. Yeah, so it says 7 months later. Mary falls out of the sky. So and Mary is saying that. She's saying that, yes, I'm Mary.
Like her. Like, she's the Mary Day. She's not a Mary Day.
Yeah.
She's the...
Yeah, she's the Mary. Mary Louise Day. So, I mean, the picture does actually look like her.
Conspiracy time.
It's just so strange.
The parents, 100p, had her in a, like, fucking dungeon in their basement. You know more.
They didn't,
no.
though. They didn't, though.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wait, it gets even crazier. So the detective is like, this is not her. So they DNA
Stop it.
And it matches. It matches the mom. Obviously not the stepdad, because he's not the dad, but it does match.
So it's definitely
the
her
father.
Oh, fuck. Quit doing that. She's air quoting. I don't like this. Okay, keep talking.
Okay. So it's just insane. So they're talking to her. She basically says, like, she ran away when she was a teenager. She lived under the radar. The police thought her story was sketchy, and they said she doesn't remember some things.
Of course she doesn't.
Like the sick
Why would
dog.
She?
Right. And then her sister says she doesn't remember that, like, they had an inheritance or something, that money their dad left, and they had, like, a code word for it, because they would, like, refer to it like they're going to get out of their mom and stepdad's house, and they had a code word for it. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure I'll find it. So she didn't remember that either.
That's
which
really
is weird. So the sister says also she's got, like, a weird accent. It's like a southern accent, which they actually had, like, dialect experts listen to her, and they said that she would have had to live in the South for, like, 9 to 10 years to get an accent like that. And when they interviewed her, she had said that she'd spent briefly some time in the South, but not that long, and that she had like lived there as a child, not as an adult.
And they found her in Arizona.
So,
okay,
yes, it's interesting. She also said the reason why she stayed under the radar was because she didn't use her real name, Mary. She went by Monica Devereaux.
So she kept her initials, but a different name.
Which was a name. Yes. I didn't even notice that. You're very...
You know, every now and again I notice things. Not always. Yeah. But, you know, when I do, it pays off.
Yeah, so the code word was Mohawk for their inheritance money. She couldn't remember that. And the sister is just like, something's not right. And then Mary, which they call Phoenix Mary, because they don't really believe she's real Mary. She wrote an email, I think to like one of the detectives or something, that basically said that I've been lying to you about who I am and blah blah blah. But then they had later said that she was a severe alcoholic and she was probably under the influence of like alcohol and or drugs, which is why she wrote that. And like it wasn't really, anyway, this whole thing is a shit show. It's just insane. Okay, now are you ready for another bump?
I mean, probably not, but you're going to tell me anyways.
I'm going to tell you. 5 years later, cadaver dogs are being used at a house where the Hulls had lived. It was a second home. So this was a different home. They are like in the area or whatever. They alert near the second home where they had lived. And it was the house they had moved to shortly after Mary had disappeared. So the detectives think, well, the body was moved here. And they dug again, but they didn't find anything. So they were like, okay, they ended up closing the case. But it just like never sat right with people. Like the detectives that were working on it.
Right, they could never pin it on them.
Yeah, it's just so weird. So they're talking, I mean, they go kind of back to the shoe that they had found at the first house. You know, it seems like a small shoe, but it's hard to say. I don't know if they like knew what size Mary would have been then. So, basically where they had originally like dug the first house, they found the soil sample to be consistent with soil that had a body buried there. So there was definitely a murder and there was definitely a
that
body
had been there at some point.
But was it Mary's? So the police detective thinks that maybe Charlotte, so he said there's some circumstantial evidence that maybe Charlotte had a couple of marriages before she had married Will, in which she was involved in extramarital affairs and became pregnant from those affairs. So maybe it's a secret daughter that she had given up and didn't raise, that they contacted when they knew they were being investigated to pose as Mary, knowing that the DNA would match, which
that's bonkers, kind of but insane, yeah.
But I mean, it said that maybe like they probably had Mary's birth certificate and social security card, so it would have been fairly easy for them. And there's motivation for this fake daughter to do that because there's an inheritance that she could claim, which was about $60,000. It's insane. So in 2017, Sherry, the sister, just like has to know. So they go back to where Phoenix Mary is living, and in Missouri, and she is suffering from late stage cancer, so she's dying.
Phoenix Mary.
And Phoenix Mary at this point is dying. 2017. She just really she reiterates that like, yeah, you know, like I left home. They say that there's like a picture of her a year after supposedly Mary had been murdered, and they had it actually like examined by a facial recognition company, and it's called TrueFace, and they analyzed the image, and they said that there's a 99% probability that picture is of Mary Day, and that is of Phoenix Mary.
Okay, so at very least she looked enough like her to pass.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, she really does. I mean, either way, DNA, right. Even if she was a sister, like...
But I mean, even sometimes, like, siblings don't look that much alike, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's just so crazy. So, I mean, really, it's very open-ended. Like, Phoenix Mary dies. She died of cancer after they,
after all that.
You know, they talked to her. They said it didn't seem like she was trying to hide anything, but she basically said, like, it's hard to prove who I am when I can't, like, there's no proof.
Right.
Like, I can't prove to you that I am Mary, but I am Mary. So her sister kind of felt a little bit better, like, yes, this is...
Yeah, she just has some
Mary,
sort of, maybe, like, PTSD sister. Or something that's fucking up her memory.
Yeah, and if she suffered from
alcohol about that too,
and drug abuse. So it seems like likely that, you know, that is Phoenix Mary is Mary. So Mary wasn't murdered, but what was the shoe and what were the cadaver dogs?
Yeah, see, that part doesn't sit right with me.
In two houses, in two different houses.
I don't like it. Something's sketchy about these people.
So that,
even if it's not her.
Right. It's so strange. So that was last night's 48 Hours. You can watch it on CBS. Like the app. I don't know if you need a subscription, but yeah, it's. I kind of skipped over some parts because it's a really long story as it is, but I found it to be so interesting, and I got it. Yeah, I will link the article. They basically just actually, it's essentially a transcript from the episode. So
cool.
Yep, you can read it if you don't want to watch it.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's my.
All right, so mine, I actually found this on an Instagram story I was watching a couple days ago. So one of our...
That's a new one. Not
I know,
Reddit,
but this did lead me to a Wikipedia, so I mean...
Oh, so we're still keeping it.
Right, because I found the case on Instagram and then did outside research, but I'm deferring to the Wikipedia. You know. So, the Instagram page I found it on is called creepykiller_. It's very interesting. They post a lot of, like, you know, like fun facts, I guess if you can call them fun facts, about, like, serial killers and stuff like that.
Right.
Right. And then, like, every day they post, like, a, you know, new post about some sort of true crime something. And then occasionally in their stories they'll, like, do, like, kind of like a slideshow of, like, a case. And this one was really interesting and stuck out to me, so I looked it up. So this is the death and disappearance of Chandra Levy. The name had sounded familiar to me, and then I realized why she is, and that's why another reason I chose it.
Yeah, this case is crazy.
So the Wikipedia is kind of the abridged version of it.
Oh, I'm here for it. We both have
I know, so buckle up, bitches. So she was born April 14th, 1977. And likely was killed on or around May 1st of 2001. They don't really know because they found her, like, decomposed skeleton, and it's kind of hard to tell exactly how long it had been sitting there, but they estimated about a year. So she was an American intern at the FBI who disappeared in May of 2001. She was presumed murdered after her skeletal remains were found in Rock Creek Park in May of 2002. The case attracted attention from the American news media for several years. And I had definitely heard about this before, but I didn't know, like, all the details.
Yeah, I think I watched,
I want to say this has been on Unsolved Mysteries. Or something.
I don't think it was that, but I did watch it on... I mean, I think it's pretty popular. Like, it is a popular case, so I think I've watched, like, some sort of show about it.
All right. So due to a miscommunication, the Metropolitan Police Department of the District of Columbia, or MPD, failed to follow on its own search parameters in Rock Creek Park, leaving her body to decompose for a year. So that's really fucking unfortunate. Like, I feel like it was just like a police misstep is why a lot of this is, you know, why it all took so long and why there's no, like, resolution. So further, the MPD had been informed, but soon dismissed the information that Igmar Gwandike, already arrested for attacking women in Rock Creek Park, had confessed to attacking Levy. The MPD instead put much of its focus on the revelation that she had been having an affair with Congressman Gary Condit, a married Democrat then serving his 5th term representing California's 18th Congressional District, a senior member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Condit had an overwhelming alibi. He was in meetings with the vice president and was never named as a suspect by the police.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
A guy like that has people. I was in a meeting with the vice president. Okay.
Right.
What were all your lackeys doing?
He was never named a suspect by police and was eventually cleared of any involvement in the disappearance. However, due to the cloud of suspicion raised by the intense media focus on the missing intern and later revelation of the affair, he lost his bid for re-election in 2002. Following a series of investigative reports by the Washington Post in 2008, the MPD followed up and finally obtained a warrant on March 3rd of 2009 to arrest Igmar Gwandike, identified and dismissed by the MPD 8 years prior. He had been convicted of assaulting 2 other women in Rock Creek Park around the time of her disappearance and was still in prison on those convictions when the arrest warrant on his for Debbie Zleth was issued. Prosecutors alleged that Gwandike had attacked and tied up Levy in a remote area of the park and left her to die of dehydration or exposure. In November of 2010, Gwandike was convicted of murdering Levy. He was sentenced in February of 2011 to 60 years in prison. In June 2015, however, he was granted a new trial. On July 28th of 2016, prosecutors announced that they would not proceed with the case against him and would instead seek to have him deported. On an episode...
Where was he from?
I'm not actually 100% sure. I think there's more information about him towards the end. In episode 3 of An American Murder Mystery on the case, I think that might be what you have seen. American Murder Mystery? Yeah.
Probably.
It's mentioned that in March of 2017, he lost his bid to remain in the United States and was deported to El Salvador in 2017. The case remains unsolved.
Got it.
Really?
My aunt is from El Salvador.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I went to high school with a lot of people that had family members from there. Yeah.
That's really cool. Had her and my uncle lived closer, I would have tried to have her teach me Spanish, but
a little far.
Lived in LA, so
just a good 12-hour drive.
A little.
A casual 12-hour drive.
Cash. Yeah, this case was really interesting though, because they found like her Walkman and a bunch of stuff, and I remember they interviewed her parents, and it's very, you can like totally deep dive in this case.
I mean, obviously we'll post the Wikipedia links, but like there's a lot of information on this one, and it's still unsolved.
Yeah, it's very sad because I remember from what I watched, she was like very talented, and she obviously was very intelligent if she got a job or internship like that in the early 2000s.
Especially then, it definitely wasn't very like female heavy.
As a female,
I mean, it still isn't, but
so
neither here nor there.
Yeah, yeah, but
yes,
it's very interesting. All right.
No, I'm gonna skip over some of her personal life. She was born in Cleveland. Family moved to Modesto. She had attended high school out there. Her parents were members of a very conservative Jewish synagogue in that area. I can't talk. She went to SF State. She got a degree in journalism. Started working for the LA mayor's office for a while, and then went to USC for grad school to get a master's in public administration. And then she moved to DC, and then started as a paid intern with the FBI and the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And that was part of her like last semester in college. So she actually never graduated.
Yeah.
Or from her master's.
Right. I remember that.
So she was last seen on May 1st of 2001. The MPD was first alerted on May 6th when her parents called from Modesto to report that they hadn't heard from their daughter in about 5 days. The police called hospitals and visited Levy's apartment in DuPont Circle that day, finding no indication of foul play. On May 7th, Levy's father told the police that his daughter had been having an affair with a congressman, and then the next day that he believed the congressman to be U.S. Representative Gary Condit. Levy's aunt also called the police and told them that Chandra had confided in her about the affair. So this is the second person that's basically just like corroborating that. On May 10th, police obtained a warrant to conduct a formal search of Levy's apartment. Investigators found her credit cards, ID, and a cell phone left behind in her purse, along with a partially packed suitcase. The answering machine was full with messages left by her relatives and 2 from Condit. A police sergeant tried to examine Levy's laptop computer and inadvertently corrupted the internet search data. So because he was not a trained technician.
Such a rookie.
Truly a rookie mistake. Computer experts took a month to reconstruct the data and to determine that the laptop was used on the morning of May 1st to search for websites related to Amtrak, Baskin-Robbins, Condit, Southwest Airlines, and a weather report from the Washington Post. The final search at 12:59 p.m. was for Alsace-Lorraine, a department in France. Excuse me. A particular search at 11:33 a.m. was for information about Rock Creek Park in the Washington Post Entertainment Guide. And then 11:34, she clicked on a link to bring up a map of the park. Detectives later theorized that she might have met someone at the Pierce Klingel Mansion, which houses the park headquarters. I probably fucked that up, but it's fine. Klingel. That's a great name. Klingle. Looks like Klingel to me.
Yeah.
July 25th of 2001, Jesus fuck. 3 DC police sergeants and 28 police cadets searched along Glover Road in the park, but failed to find any evidence related to Levy. Later, a second attempt also found nothing. Her parents and friends held numerous vigils and news conferences in an attempt to bring her home. Basically, then they kind of go into the relationship with Gary Condit. He was a married man who represented the congressional district in which the Levy family had resided. At first, he denied he had an affair with her, although police stated that Condit was not a suspect. Levy's family said that they felt that he was being evasive and possibly hiding information about the matter. Duh.
I'm sure he was, though. I mean,
yeah, and he wants to protect his reputation.
And he's right. As much as he can.
Police sources allege that Condit had admitted to an affair with Levy during an interview with law enforcement officers on July 7th of 2001. Condit described her to police as a vegetarian who avoided drinking and smoking. He thought that Levy was going to return to Washington, D.C. after her graduation and was surprised to find out that the lease on her apartment had ended. Investigators searched his apartment on July the 10th. They questioned flight attendant Anne-Marie Smith, who claimed that Condit had told her that she didn't need to speak to the FBI about his personal life. Federal officials began investigating Condit for possible obstruction of justice, just as the flight attendant was also involved in an affair with him. So basically, he had coerced her to not saying anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, though.
He refused to submit a polygraph test to the DC police. His attorney asserts that he had passed a test administered by a privately hired examiner on July 13th. He avoided answering direct questions during a televised interview on August 23rd with news anchor Connie Chung on the ABC News program Primetime Thursday. Intensive coverage continued until the news of September 11th, and then that superseded all media coverage of basically anything else for the next indefinite future.
I'm sure it did.
Her remains were found on May 22nd of 2002 by a man who was walking his dog and looking for turtles in Rock Creek Park near the Broad Branch Creek. Detectives found bones and personal items scattered but not buried in a forested area along a steep incline. A sports bra, sweatshirt, leggings, and tennis shoes were among the evidence that was recovered, although police had previously searched over the 1,754-acre main section of the park. The wooded slope where her remains were eventually found had never been searched. Police commanders ordered the search perimeters to be within 100 yards of each road and trail, but due to a miscommunication, officers was only searched within 100 yards of every road. So they didn't go,
I feel like they're just...
so fucking dumb. And her body was found about 4 miles away from her apartment. But yeah, really that's kind of it for now. As of now, all the charges against Guantique have been dropped, and they have no other leads right now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I watched that, he seemed very, a very interesting suspect because he had attacked 2 other women in that same area. I don't think he killed them.
No, it was just an assault. I mean, not that that's like
Yeah.
light.
So, but I mean, not yeah, right. Like, and not to say that he couldn't have escalated, because oftentimes
That's how they start. Yeah.
offenders like that do. Yeah. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
The whole thing, and I just wonder where they would have been if the police hadn't maybe
In so many
stepped.
ways.
There's just a lot of
Yeah.
layers to it. I wonder how differently it would have been treated had she not been having an affair with.
I feel
the
like they would have,
congressman,
or
too.
people generally would have cared less. Like, I feel like there's no talk about the first two girls that were like assaulted there. None of it was brought up until this happened. And what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So the media coverage was, not really there for the other two women that had been assaulted, but when
Yeah.
and then
for
white
sure.
girl dies, and then it's a problem. Yeah.
It's a big problem.
Oh, who happens to be sleeping with a congressman?
Oh my gosh, it's right. It's so interesting. But I also wonder, like, maybe if she wasn't having an affair with him, if it would have been like. I feel like now there's a layer of secrecy over it. Like, I think people have so many conspiracy theories. I just don't think that anybody that they found that might look good for this crime would, like, if people would believe
and that's
that,
like,
you know
I
what
mean, like, by looking at her search history, she definitely had been looking up the park that day, so she definitely had plans to go there, so it's not like it was definitely like a random thing, at least that part.
Right, and they said she was, like, running around there
so
or something.
I mean, the fact that they, because of miscommunication, never found her body for a year, and then, like, fucked up her computer and couldn't get her search results and stuff for a month. Like, it was just so much, like, bad police work. Yeah.
So interesting.
And I don't think that Gary Condit was thoroughly investigated as much as he should have been. I don't think he did anything specifically, but I think that maybe more information would have been known.
Yes, like, odds are having a girl like that, like having a girl you're having an affair with killed is not, I mean, like, odds are that that's all going to come to light anyway, so it's probably not your best move, even if she's threatening to, like, go to your wife or whatever. Like, now she's dead and people know, and your wife found out anyway. So I wonder, though, if it was just more of a crime of opportunity than anything to do.
That's kind of what I'm
with
thinking
him.
too.
Or maybe the wife.
That's
had her nuts.
also, but that's where my head kind of went first too, though, because I was like, maybe he didn't, but maybe someone that knew about it wanted to shut her up.
Yeah, maybe did. Kind of like a Scandal type
100%.
thing, like on
Love
the,
that
the
show.
show Scandal. Yeah, it's a good one. Though it gets a little bit annoying at the end. So
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
that one is that. Again, there's no real resolution. No one really knows. I think a lot of people are being quiet that probably have more information.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't think we probably won't ever know what the whole truth is. So. Do you have anything fun and fresh to
I'm
share?
trying to think. I downloaded the Peloton app. I don't have a Peloton bike, and I don't ever intend on buying a $1,500 exercise bike. But they have a lot of really good, like, at-home workouts.
Does
right now, they extended their free trial to 90 days to, like, get people through the quarantine. But it is...
Is it like body weight workouts? Or just
everything.
Cardio stuff.
So they have yoga,
body
they have
weights.
meditation, they have, if you have equipment, you can pick like a band class, a class with weights, you can pick a no equipment workout, you can, if you have like a treadmill, you can do indoor running, you can do outdoor running, you can do obviously spin classes, like any equipment you have.
That's cool.
I think
How
it's
much is
either
it
15 or
normally?
30 a
Just
month.
Curious.
But you can get like a family plan and split it
not
with people. I know people that do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart. Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't downloaded it. Thanks
I
for
obviously don't get anything by sharing this. It's free. And normally it's a free 30-day trial anyways. But I've been like loving the sleep meditations. It's like a guided sleep meditation. Like you just like place it on your nightstand, like your phone, and have it on speaker or like an earbud in, whatever. Yeah. And it just like just
I have been doing that with the Calm
I've heard
app.
good things about that. I just haven't tried it.
But you only get like a week free trial, and then it's like $59 a
It's like
year,
$10 a month,
which isn't terrible. It ends up being like it's.
I know I can't math.
It's like 5. It was like 5.
As soon as it came out of my mouth and I took a swig, I was like, that's wrong. But maybe she'll call me out. Maybe she won't. I don't know. I said it with confidence.
Totally fine. I had to. That was so funny. So I canceled it after like
the trial.
My free trial ran out, but you can still access like a good amount of stuff on there for free. It has. Okay, this actor Stephen Fry, he's British. Let me see what he's in, because you would know he's like one of those faces when you see him. But he has the most relaxing voice on the planet. Shit puts me right to sleep, and I love it. Let me see if I can pull up what he's in, because you guys would know. He's in Doctor Who. He's in Bones.
How do you spell his name?
Just like some popular thing. Stephen with a PH and then FRY.
Oh, yes.
Anyway,
this man. Got it.
Yeah. He's got such a calm voice. And so he reads... Oh, he's also in Sherlock Holmes, the one with...
he does a series of readings of Harry Potter audiobooks, right? Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the one that I purchased. But Jordan's wife, Melanie, was telling me about it, that he has a version that he narrates.
I'm like legitimately going to go download it because I love his voice.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
I don't know about British accents.
Truly, it's
really
great.
Calm me. It really is. Like when we lived in Germany, and I just like simply could not take like the German going into my brain that I didn't understand. And it's not like the language itself. It's just like I didn't if I understood it, it probably wouldn't have been. So it would just get overwhelming. So I would literally go visit my friends in England so I could hear English people.
You're so funny.
So, yeah, I guess that's my thing for the week. Also, Truly Lemonade seltzers.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find them. Like, even like preaching about them for a few weeks now, and they're sold out everywhere in the East Bay. I know.
That's
if you live in the East Bay and you can find them, drop them off at my doorstep, please. I will Venmo you. Yeah. I don't care.
We have a post office. Just put it in our box.
I'm not joking. You can mail booze.
Anyways.
Send it to our P.O. box. We'll link it.
There you go. It's in the description. Also, you can just like mail me a check.
Jesus Christ. You can support us on Be a Backer to buy it so we can buy Truly lemonades. Shameless self-promo.
That's all I need in my life.
Fucking A.
Truly lemonades.
I think that's it. Yeah, we'll post the polls. So they'll be running all day Monday. So you can vote on what screen recap you'd like to hear on Wednesday.
Jamie, do not check. Please text me.
Yes. So we're gonna have polls on all of our socials. Please follow them. Also follow Hot for Content if you're not following that everywhere, so you can listen to our other podcasts that we do.
Cause we're
everything is like official. We own a fucking LLC. We are each one quarter CEO. How do you feel? Hell yes. So anyways, just keep on supporting, subscribing, tell a friend, share us on your social media, do all that fun thing. What's the other thing? Oh, the rating and reviews on wherever you listen to this. That helps the algorithm, and when people search things, our name pops up first. So,
like, literally, guys, we were gonna do a giveaway, but y'all, we like really don't have much on Instagram, or like not Instagram, iTunes. We don't have many reviews or like ratings, so it would really help us out if you listen to us. Please, like, take 5 minutes out of your quarantine, hop off of TikTok, go on to iTunes.
Exactly. It takes 5 seconds. It helps us out a ton. And on that note, we'll see you on Wednesday with either some sort of screen recap. We'll find out when we get there. All right, toodaloo. Bye.
Okay. Bye.